Hey, it's Carrie from Reseller Revenue, and today we're going to talk about Monet jewelry. It's a common brand name that we hear all the time, but sometimes we don't realize how much money we can actually get from selling it. So, and apologies for Molly the Frenchie that's snoring in the background, but if I don't let her sleep up here, she'll just cry the whole time. So, all right, let's talk about Monet. So Monet was kind of it was started in the late 20s and it was initially known as Monocraft. Maybe you found some, I found some brooches that are marked Monocraft before. And it was a brother duo that started the company in Providence, Rhode Island. And they were kind of a Art Deco-ish kind of monograms for handbags. And then they went to costume jewelry. So they started out with monograms and were not initially a jewelry company. So that was during the Great Depression, and they were trying to be affordable and make it look like luxury, but without the price tag. And then in 1937, Monocraft was rebranded as Monet. And the name was inspired by the painter. And it began fully shifting to just high style, but still budget friendly jewelry. So that's when they just went strictly to jewelry. And it was one of the very first costume jewelries to really imprint as where you could look like you had money, but maybe you really didn't. And so that was really important to them that you could shop on a budget. So they've always been plated very well, especially in like the 50s through the 80s. Monet had the triple plating and it had just their finishes wear extremely well. So you'll find some of the older pieces that most definitely have held up better than the newer pieces. And they had faux pearls, they used glass rhinestones, and they also had a really some of their texture finishes were really unique to the brand. And some of the had really intricate metalwork that was just the craftsmanship was amazing for being costume jewelry. So in the 30s and the 40s, they kind of concentrated more on keeping that Art Deco design. And then they went with the sterling silver accents. Some of them had the military theme through it. And they kind of then started going more into the brooches and charm bracelets. So a lot of the old charm bracelets you'll find from Monet were, in fact, from the 30s and the 40s. In the 50s and the 60s, they kind of transitioned more into like the big floral patterns that you'll see and the enamel sets. And they started getting into some like workwear type of jewelry that women could wear to work because until then women were not as common in the office workplace environment, and now they're becoming where it's a regular thing and they need something to wear. So the pendants and the charm bracelets were still also common during that time. 70s and the 80s, we had the bold clip-on earrings and dramatic chains, and that's when you see the big statement pieces, which as you'll see are worth some of the most money. And they had some collaborations too. In the 90s is when you saw the collaborations come up with Dior and YSL and LaCroix, and especially the Dior pieces. Some of them are just amazing and they're really collectible and worth a lot of money if you can find them. So they've held time and true. A lot of us will run across Monet, and a lot of us, though, start getting a little bit blind to the fact that there are some Monet pieces worth quite a bit of money. And maybe we just don't recognize that there are some standout pieces, and they're really not that hard to find. So the pieces I'm going to share with you, I have found several times on just on my jewelry journey and selling jewelry. So I want you to know what to look for too. So let me share my screen and we will take a look at some Monet money pieces. So here is you will also, here, let me move my bar so I'm not blocking anything. So you will also see here there's an 80s. Sometimes I believe this title structure, sometimes I feel like keywords people use may be why they got a higher amount. So we also want to look at that when we're looking at the higher priced items. So this has a Greek key motif. And if you didn't know to use the word Greek key, I think it would really limit some of the people that might be looking for this. But you can see that it's carried forward in the earrings and the necklace, and it's big and it's chunky. I would use the keyword chunky on this one. Maybe the word statement for a statement piece, and for sure enamel, which they did use. Nice listing, nice price at $151.20. I have not found that piece. This is just a set of clip-on earrings. They're hoops. They have the texture to them, but they also use the word that E word, I can't ever pronounce that. It's trustion, sorry. But sometimes it's the keywords that help us sell our items. So be aware. And there's the back. It really looks like just a pair of hoop earrings, right? So keep a lookout on things like this. They got $160 for this. There's a super rare. I don't know that I would start my title with super rare. However, it did sell almost immediately. So maybe it is super rare. Save that word for when it really is. So maybe they were right. It's got the gold teardrop right there. Nice textured piece. The textured metal is in really nice condition. Sometimes the little nubs and stuff get worn off, but this one looks really nice. Really not that many pictures, but you need as many pictures as it takes to sell your item. And this one sold for $150 with not that many pictures. This one is the Monet with cabochon. So I am sure I've sold this, and I'm sure I did not ask $175 for it. So this comes down to you could only get what you ask for. And I am pretty sure I've messed this one up. So it's just lucite or resin, I guess, and the colors. It's the jewel tone color pattern. I don't think they just got lucky. I did see this pattern a few times in the higher end. So just we have to know to ask for it, I guess, is the lesson on that one. This one also, I am pretty sure I wouldn't have known to ask 175 for this. It's in very nice condition and is big. It's got the bullet shapes. They use, I mean, it's just a regular listing. It does have some of the scratching on it, but $175. So be aware of this. Be conscious that that piece is and it is a statement piece. So that's probably most of it. This one, I love the Monet lariats. They do really well. And then that's got the liquid gold to it. People are into tassels right now. So make sure we're using the word lariat. Make sure you're using the word tassel if it has tassels. And that one is in very nice shape. And if I remember right, that's a very heavy piece. And it had the earrings, so that sure didn't hurt. This was on auction. They may have gotten more money just asking for a buy it now. Most things I don't recommend auctions for unless it's truly special. This one is gorgeous statement piece, and it's a filigree bib necklace. Very short title. It spoke for itself. Really nice condition there. And 188.50. Sorry about the dog. We've got a Monet snake chain, which I'm not so sure this isn't. Maybe an omega, but I can't tell. Nope, it's a snake chain. So big, thick. It's definitely couture. That word in there might have helped. It's massive for what it is, and 199.50 is what they got from that. So we did have lots of pictures, and it is in good condition. Here's another one that's in part of a collection. I'm not even going to try to pronounce the collection because I'll get it wrong, but it is a huge piece. It kind of looks like a tie hanging down. Very nice texture, very nice tone. So you'll start to see the real lightness between the ones that are bringing the more money are that there's big statement pieces a lot of the time. This one, mesh. Mesh is in, mesh, tassels, big statement. That's what's selling right now. So know what's selling right now. That's part of our jobs. It's got the matte tone finish. Use the word showstopper, and mesh, I think, is probably the best keywords in that title. $199. And these are things we can find at the thrift store. These are things we can find at garage sales. Here's a 1974 Mandria bib necklace. It's also got the earrings with it. I'm not sure what was on the offer, but I wanted to include it because lots of the other high dollar ones were gold tone, and this is silver tone. So silver tone can sell too, but look how big it is. It's massive. Here's the 1961 piece. And notice that they also use the word where it says book for people that are looking for book pieces. If you have the Monet book, you could certainly take a picture of it beside that page in the book. It does help. And both the necklace and the bracelet separately sell very well also. It's a bolero chain, and you can see here it's in very nice condition. Lots of times those will get worn. There it shows it on. Let's see if it shows it in the book. It does not, but that does help if you can take a picture of it sitting with the book piece. This one really kind of got me, but it does show up in a couple different colorways in the same price, so I don't think it was a fluke. It does have the whole entire set, which I'm sure helps, and it's $200 there, and it is in very nice shape, but I might have missed that set as far as how much to price that at. Here's the Monet Roman goddess coin. So this one I'm sure I would have messed up, and it's a Fortuna pendant. I'm very certain I probably would have messed this one up and not asked for $225. So don't be like me, guys. Check it out. Ask for what things are worth. Here's a Roman coin necklace. We know coins are into. It doesn't have to be Monet. Coin jewelry is in, especially if it's heavy and well made. This one did have the earrings and the bracelet and the necklace, which of course is going to help, but I think any of these pieces on their own would have sold just fine. Very nice for $230. Have we seen this color palette before? I think we have. We've seen the same color palette in the Jewels of India type of, which I don't know that I would have used Jewels of India. I'm not sure if that's what it was called or not for Monet, but I know it was for Trifari. So check that out. It's got a nice book chain on it. I wanted to see the signature on this one because I have never ran across this bracelet. Yep, there it is. So even though it has wear and it needs repaired, it's still brought $249, which I think most of us would know to pick this up. It looks like something special, but don't let a little wear scare you from buying a good piece if it's a good piece. All right, so this is a Maltese cross. Maltese crosses are also hot right now, and in pretty much every brand. So if it's big, chunky, and a Maltese cross, it's usually pretty marketable. It's also got the hammered texture to it. I do use that as a keyword of mine when we're listing hammered jewelry. Very nice there. I like that to show that it's extra link in there that you can take off if you want. The finish on the back's really in good condition on this one, but $299. Pretty nice. This one, the rare pendant gold tone. Nope, would have missed this one. So I don't think it's a fluke. They do have good feedback. I checked their store. I'm not sure about this one. I don't have much to say about it. It's a newer one because there's the tag. I included it because it was in one of the higher end sales, but that one really shocked me. I have no idea the history behind why that would bring so much. Here's one that's a serpent bracelet. We also know that serpents, dragons, griffins, things of that nature do very well. It looks like scales. Maybe we could use the keyword scales on this one. This was a cool piece. It didn't really surprise me that it bought $350, but sometimes I think we get stuck on thinking, well, it's just Monet. Like, how much could it possibly bring? Because it's a household, just regular run-of-the-mill name. We have to remember if it's really special and got that it factor, we can charge more money for it. And this had the it factor. Here's a massive Monet multi-strand Egyptian festoon. Definitely use that word festoon in that one. And book, I think they used a lot of really good keywords in this one. They did a nice job with their listing. There is a model from 1969 modeling that necklace. That's a nice touch. So I think they did a really good job with this listing, and they got $385 for their work. And that is excellent. There's another model wearing the necklace. Here is another super rare, and it's part of the Rococo collection. I didn't watch that one. So it's another statement piece. I don't know that I ran across this one, but it is really nice. It's big, it's massive, it's got dangles on it. It's for sure it would be the focal piece of your outfit, and also a well done listing, which I think makes a difference. If we just throw up a not good listing and people may never find our item. So very well done. There's also a model wearing that necklace. This one is a ram's head You do see some of this in some of the Monet jewelry. It does usually command a premium. It is multi-chain. It's definitely a statement piece. You're not going to wear that on your shoulder and not get some comments. At $475, very nice. See if we're to the top yet. See, so we have a runway one. So this is I would have put Egyptian Revival, and it's part of that one necklace we saw before, that one style. And it is just, I think it kind of as a Cleopatra would have been a nice keyword also to use. Definitely got that big collar look to it. But we didn't need the extra because it sold itself at $445.99. That's a nice price. This one was more of a surprise, and it isn't necessarily high end, but it is one of the sterling silver pieces that Monet made, and it's chunky and it's pretty. And I would use the word chunky in here, but they did a good job, and it sold for $130. So I maybe use the word snail. Definitely got the snail shell. There's where it is marked sterling and Monet. I found a few sterling Monet pieces, but not too many. So that's where I'm going to stop there. I feel like we can find Monet out there. A lot of times it'll polish up really nicely. It's got that gorgeous triple finish on it. Just knowing how to price our items and not selling ourselves short is important. You can get some pairs of just plain Monet earrings and easily get the $30, $35 for it. So make sure that we're pricing accordingly. I think maybe my next one, maybe we'll do Napier, because when I think of Monet, I think of Napier. A lot of times, like, they go hand in hand with the solid golds, solid silvers, and often get mistaken for just being a plain costume jewelry, but really they have some very nice pieces. If you're interested in talking jewelry more, or you'd like a jewelry store review, you want to go over some things, all things jewelry, my group, the Reseller Revenue, we meet on Tuesdays at 10 o'clock Central Time, along with Lynn from Finds of Yesterday, and we discuss jewelry, and you can ask whatever you want. You can share a find, you can share a sourcing that you're thinking about maybe purchasing, and we can give you the opinions. We help you with your titles and your listings, and we just have a good time on Tuesdays. And you can also post anything you want, jewelry related or otherwise, in the group at any time, and one of us that sells jewelry will be happy to help you. So feel free to go and check out the Resell Revenue on Patreon.